right, what's going on, you guys? Nick here with Nick Strength and Power, and obviously we've got a lot to talk about today with this Mr. Big Evolution Portugal Pro Show. So the finals just wrapped up for this show, and I was going to do a prejudging video, but prejudging and finals were like instantaneously close, so there was really no point in making two separate videos because finals was already over by the time I started making a video. So I think it goes without saying that these were extraordinarily interesting results. This was a big shakeup here. So Rubiel took the win. So I want to give Rubiel some credit here, but we'll go through the placings first. Rubiel took the win. Bruno Santos in second. Nathan Diasha drops to third here, which he did not look too pleased about. And in fourth place, Fabian Meyer, who didn't make weight for Classic Physique, decided to compete in open bodybuilding, made the first call out and placed in the top four. Very, very impressive. And I thought he looked great, by the way, Fabian Meyer. And if you guys don't know who these guys are, Fabian Meyer is the guy on the far right, Nathan Diasha is the guy on the far left, and then Rubiel and Bruno are in the middle. And I think most of you guys know which one is Rubiel. So I've got to say I'm impressed. I think this is probably the best Rubiel that we've seen to date. And I said going into this show that if somehow Rubiel is able to win this show and beat Nathan Diasha, then I'll start to be a little bit more of a believer, and I'll be really impressed in the progress that he's made. And that's exactly what he did here. Like I said, I think this is probably the best package that I've seen from him. I mean, you could see a level of detail in Rubiel's glutes and hamstrings that I don't think we've seen at any other show that he's done so far. And I think this kind of proves that this is exactly what he needed to do. He needed to do more shows and compete more often and just get that experience on stage. And that is exactly what's happening here, is that is paying off for him. I feel like him and his coach just needed some more competitions under their belt to really figure out how to properly peak Rubiel. And it seems like the more shows that they do together, the better Rubiel hits that peak for the show. And I'm very impressed. I am very impressed that he won this show. I think he's definitely changing a lot of people's opinions about him with this one. And I think I'm really impressed that he did it, even given the fact that he already won a show and qualified, and he's still competing. And I kind of hope that he does another show, even after this one, and just tries to rack up some wins before the Olympia, which hopefully he does actually do the Olympia. But conditioning-wise, I think this is the tightest that we've seen at NECKZILLA. I will still say that I think for the Olympia, if he wants to be really competitive at the Olympia, he still needs to bring tighter conditioning. His posing still needs a little bit of work, but I think the posing has improved here as well, as far as him hitting the poses, holding the poses a little bit longer. But this version of Rubiel that we're seeing here, I think this version has a better shot at being potentially top 10 at the Olympia. Because this, honestly, this is not even close to the same Rubiel that we saw just weeks ago in Dubai. This is a different, totally different physique, totally different package, totally different level of conditioning. The difference between this and how he looked in Dubai is like a night and day difference. And not only beating Nathan, but Nathan taking third. And this is why I think this is so huge for Rubiel, is because even the show that he won last week, it was admittedly not the deepest lineup. So he improved in the sense that he won a show, qualified for the Olympia. But as far as the guys that beat him in Dubai 2 years in a row, Nathan was one of those guys that beat Rubiel both times in Dubai. So for him to beat Nathan would be like an actual tangible indicator that he has actually improved from Dubai to now. Because keep in mind, Nathan was fourth in Dubai. Rubiel was sixth. So this, to me, is a pretty clear indicator that Rubiel has gotten better by doing these shows. And I think it's interesting that Nathan took third here, because honestly, rewatching this call-out, I don't think Nathan looked much different than he looked in Dubai. Like, I didn't feel like Nathan was incredibly off here or something. I was kind of surprised to see him in third. And that's why I say it's an indicator that Rubiel did get better, because I think that's what happened here. Rubiel beat Nathan because Rubiel has gotten better from Dubai, and I don't think it's because Nathan has gotten worse from Dubai. I think it's just because Rubiel has improved. And I think you also have to take in the fact that Nathan is legit one of the best bodybuilders in the world, and NECKZILLA just beat him here. Nathan has been top 7 at the Olympia. He's won a bunch of shows. He's the real deal, and for Rubiel to beat him, I think it really legitimizes the Rubiel hype. I'm still not fully on board the Rubiel hype train, but like I said, this makes me more of a believer in his potential. Him improving, him consistently competing. He's bringing better conditioning every show that he's done so far. He hasn't gotten worse from Dubai. Every show he's gotten better. And, I mean, he took away the qualification from Nathan here. Nathan still has to qualify for the Olympia. So I thought this was very unexpected turn of events, but I think it was very exciting. I think it was cool to see kind of a changing of the guard here. And it's cool to see a bodybuilder actually improve the things that they've been critiqued on, especially in kind of a short amount of time, honestly. And I think this is a good example of where people criticizing Rubiel probably lit a fire under him to do better, and that constant criticism of that conditioning, it looks like he internalized that and listened, because he is, without a doubt, getting sharper every time we see him compete. And I hope that we get to see him compete more before the Olympia, just to get more of that on-stage experience. But I also hope that he actually does go to the Olympia and compete, because, again, we don't know for sure that he can get to the States. I know there was a visa issue when he was talking about doing the shows in the States last year. I don't know what that visa situation is. But up until this point, we still have never seen him compete in the States. So hopefully he is qualified now. I hope that means we actually see him compete. But I'm really pretty curious to hear what you guys think in the comments about this. Not only NECKZILLA winning and beating Nathan, but Nathan in third. I mean, you guys saw Nathan was not happy about his placing in Dubai. I would imagine he's very unhappy with his placing here in Portugal. And rewatching it again, I mean, I really don't feel like Nathan was super far off the mark from where he was in Dubai here. I just think NECKZILLA got better. Nathan doesn't look like off to me in this. And I don't want to overshadow Fabian either. Fabian taking fourth here, because I've talked a lot about NECKZILLA, talked a lot about Nathan. But again, coming over from Classic Physique, missing the weight for Classic and jumping in this open show, I really think Fabian looked great. His conditioning was incredible. I think he really shined in this top 4. He looked great. He was taller than everybody else, and maybe that's why he stood out a little bit. But he really impressed me here. This is for coming over from Classic. This was a really good look. This is the type of stuff that I like to see. And even though he was 4th, I mean, coming in 4th right behind a world-class open bodybuilder who took 3rd, Nathan. I mean, Nathan has won a bunch of shows. Like I said, top 7 at the Olympia was his highest placing. For a guy to make his open debut from Classic at this show, top 4 is pretty good here. And then in addition to that, I mean, this whole show was interesting from top to bottom. In Classic Physique, you had Horse MD switching from open bodybuilding to Classic. And I thought he looked incredible here. And Horse, Marcelo De Angelis, ended up winning his crossover attempt here and qualifying for the Classic Physique Olympia now, which will be interesting to see. I think he looked great here, but I believe the reason that he started doing open bodybuilding in the first place was that he struggled to make weight in Classic Physique. So I don't know if going forward that's going to be something that he still struggles with and maybe impacts his look. But I thought he looked great here. I thought it was cool that he won. I always love a good crossover like this, and I'm kind of excited to see him now at the Classic Physique Olympia. And then also in 212, Jose Maria Mete, Made Elman on Instagram, he was actually switching from Classic Physique to 212, and he won the 212 division, where I thought he actually looked great as a 212 bodybuilder. So we had Fabian crossover to open, we had Horse crossover to Classic, and we had Jose crossover to 212, all in the same show. And then we had a pretty big shakeup with NECKZILLA winning the show. So very, very interesting competition this weekend. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. This is definitely going to be, I think, an interesting comment section. Make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, click that bell notification icon if you have not already. And as always, I love you guys, appreciate you guys. Nick Strength and Power, signing out. All right, guys, don't forget to click that like button and subscribe to this channel if you enjoy the content. Also, check out my Instagram at NickStrengthPower. my Facebook page, which is simply Nick Strength and Power, my secondary YouTube channel, Nick Strength and Vlogs, for vlogs and bonus content that you will not see on this channel, and consider subscribing to my third YouTube channel, Nick Strength and Pokemon, which is all things Pokemon and trading card games, completely unrelated to this channel. So if you're into that, give that one a look. And all links to merchandise and social media will be in the description box below. If you guys want a Nick Strength and Power t-shirt, that will be in the Shopify link below. Have a great day.